Hello and welcome back to another UMLO news update. It is April 2025. What a month, huh? And we've covered quite a bit since our last news update. We have created an asset repository and we've been using it extensively. We have done some more around early adopter my firsts in Sparks, leaving off with my first model library, follow after we did the my first focus window, and we continue to work in that area. And then we continue to work on our data warehouse strategy, where we're taking our release 1 architecture, going into release 2, where we're building out our data architecture for release 2 to support machine learning and personalization and so on. So we've covered a great deal. We have a lot more to go, and I want to give you an update. So since our last news update, we have published or kicked off the data architecture strategy with part 1. We did getting started in our data architecture strategy in part 2. We got into reusing our asset repository in part 3. And we brought in some data architecture from our asset repository using patterns and XML import, showed other methods for approaching our data architecture. So in part 5, the most recently one that we did, we got into building our solution architecture using scenarios, which was a lot of fun. As far as our early adopter, we published my first custom SQL, my first model view, my first Sparks focus. This got into the focus window, my first slideshow. This helps you with presentations of your model content to your stakeholders and to support collaboration. And then my first model library, allowing you to connect your various Sparks projects and share intelligence between them. So what's coming up? What's planned for the next month? And as far as our advanced topics, when we're getting into our data architecture strategy and modeling that, we're going to get into part 6, which was to design our data architecture. Part 7 is going to be around reporting and to document the architecture so far. And then we'll have some to be announced. That's going to be depending on where we've left off and additional concerns. As far as the early adopter goes, our next episode, I believe, is going to be on my first clones. Then after that, my first Kanban, my first mind map, which I use extensively, and I'm really happy to start sharing that. And then my first perspective. And now we're getting near the end of the my first category. My first perspective is really for model administrators, as well as yourself managing the various perspectives that you're doing. And then we finally get into my first review. So we're going to get into how we handle reviews in Sparks Enterprise Architect, support project management and project delivery. So that's going to be a blast. So that's the news for April. I've got a new playlist coming out there. It's called Quick Views. I'll include a link down below for the first video that was published for that. Quick Views is different than Extras. Extras is 5 minutes. They're usually extending longer form videos and things I may have missed or that I want to focus on. Quick Views is 3 minutes or less, and they're not shorts. They're full screen quick views to handle various questions and concerns that come in from you. Thanks very much. As well as others that I work with in the industry. So look forward to jumping into that. All right. So until that next episode, happy modeling.